what we will do is this online lecture series for African countries will be the following. So in the first week of December, we have 5 lectures about 5 African countries, starting with South Africa, and then Kenya, Tanzania, Cameroon, and Zimbabwe. Actually, the next year there will be 4 African countries also following up. And then on December 9th, 16th, and 23th, we will have once a week another lecture where we will look for the African continent more specifically on what is the mini-culturalism approach, what are the tools, what are the performance indicators, and in the next week we will talk about how to apply this practically in tourism, what are specifics about soft markets, and also we will have a special topic, carbon credit trading for Africa, which is the first lecture. Today we will have one briefing. And finally, we will look at the last lecture at the step-by-step implementation of eco-tourism for African destinations, companies, and organizations, and especially about the conclusion and outlook. So in the first lecture today, I have the pleasure and the honor to start in a minute with an introduction about what is meaningful tourism. And then we have our certified trainer from the Meaningful Tourism Center for each of the countries, talking about how can meaningful tourism help to develop sustainable tourism in my country. So that will be South Africa, Kenya, and so on. And then we have a local expert joining us, talking about the current situation and activities for sustainable tourism and for capacity building already existing in this country, and some special aspects of the activities of the local expert. And then we have Mr. Vinod Vasudevan from AOI Company, and he will give a good example of how you earn money from the behavior by using carbon credit trading, and also something with important topic. And at the end, very important also, we have a live question and answer session. So if you have any questions coming up to your mind in the next 45 minutes or so, please bear them in mind, or you can also discuss something, of course. And at the end, there will be a Q&A where we will try to answer your questions as they are arising. They can already very much welcome to that content. And also, just to mention that everybody who has registered to participate in this online lecture series is invited for free. So this is sponsored by us, the Meaningful Tourism Center, and by the Tourism Institute. And so there's no payment necessary. However, if you want to have a participation certificate signed by the leaders of the Meaningful Tourism Center and Tourism Institute, this is available, but for that you will have to ask for a payment of $30 that will be run after the lecture series. And also, we have a special bonus for you. Everybody participating in the Meaningful Tourism on the Lectures Africa will receive automatically free access to the Meaningful Tourism Weekly, our publication every week telling you about meaningful tourism development. If for some reason you don't want to receive this anymore every week, you can tell us and we will cancel them anytime. Very briefly talking about who talks to you. So my name is Professor Dr. Wolfgang Georg Alt, and I've been working in tourism since many years, in the 80s. And as you can see in this list, I have been working a lot in the market, but also I've been working for more than 50 years now in the African countries, on and about different source markets. And so for us here, very important is that in 2021, during the pandemic, I started the Meaningful Tourism Center to support the concept of meaningful tourism development. That is what we talk about in our lectures here. And also, at the moment, if you want to know, I am based in Kathmandu, Nepal, so I moved here last year, and people said, okay, obviously, with me. Other than that, well, you can see that I've been working a lot internationally and having a lot of hats, including a fellowship of the Royal Geographical Society and the Royal Aviation Society, but also membership of international tourism organizations. So that is what I wanted to tell you for the moment. And now let's enjoy the online lectures, and let's not forget Europe is the past, Asia is the present, Africa is the future. Thank you, and let's start the presentations. Hello, everybody, and welcome again to the Vehicle Tourism as a tool for development sustainable tourism for Africa. And let me start by talking about what is meaningful tourism. So, meaningful tourism is a paradigm which defines basically 6 main stakeholders in tourism and hospitality, and saying that all 6 need to receive objective benefits and subjective satisfaction. So jobs, income, reach, and development, but also happiness about encounters with visitors. And so that this is necessary to support the sustainable development of destinations, companies, and organizations, to mitigate and adapt to climate change, and to provide good travel experiences to the travelers as one of the 6 stakeholders, but not only for them. So let's have a look where we are now. So international tourism obviously is at a crossroads. So we see that climate change is destroying many business models which were successful in the past. We see AI is changing tourism in more ways than even the internet did in the past. And also we see that customers' demand is changing from sightseeing and recreation to transformative experiences and special interest. So what are the results? The results are that we see that more and more people are asking for quality and not just quantity. Mass market package tours are out, and individual travel is in. Tour operators are starting to be replaced by AI-powered personal assistant apps. So the traditional distribution channels are disappearing, which means there are many chances for African destinations and companies to avoid the mistakes which have been done by others before and adopt to the current and future development right away. And obviously, the result is that there's a need for a holistic approach to tourism, tackling not just one problem, but looking at the whole picture. So we can see we had 50 years up to the pandemic of growth in tourism. So this, in many ways, also on the development of affordable air transport and making it affordable for more people in the middle classes to fly long distance. And that was based on the idea that tourism is about recreation, resting, and sightseeing, and was mostly organized in package tours. And for Africa, that was after independence one of the easiest ways to start earning some hard currency by making use of the nature in the form of safaris or beaches to attract additional visitors. So we had a year of growth, and where if you look at this graph, which you probably haven't seen before. So Africa, the blue one on top, came out of almost nothing in the 1980s to having a share, even so still a small one, but a growing one. And totally, we see that we reached almost 1.5 billion trips before the pandemic. And as one result, you can see the right-hand side, the picture of Barcelona. So the main pedestrian area was completely taken over by tourism. So where did this end? Well, it ended with the pandemic, but before already we saw that there were big debates about over-tourism, local people getting fed up with tourism development, and also ecological discussions that you have to be ashamed of aircraft for contributing to global warming, you're contributing to pollution. And so we saw during the pandemic a lot of discussions and debates going on, and everybody was agreeing that using just arrival numbers, just how many people are coming as a performance indicator, is not working, that you have to have a more differentiated approach. And also we saw that as one of the results of the pandemic, the demands are changing. So people are less interested in recreation and shopping and sightseeing. They want more involvement and experience, and they want actually transformation instead of just memory creation. So they want to get something out of the trip which will make them a fuller personality, a bit better and more complex idea of what is the world, who are they themselves. So this is called the transformation economy. You may remember there was a very famous book of Pine and Gilmore about the experience economy, and this was now updated by the author Pine, talking now about the transformation economy. This is where we are moving to. So why do we need meaningful tourism? So the climate breakdown will dominate the development in the coming decades, no doubt about this. And so many once successful business models will be destroyed. We see all the new technologies coming, which provide a lot of new opportunities, but also challenges. And as we just said, so the demand is developing from relaxation, sightseeing, and experiences to customized transformational experiences. And of course, Africa is very well posed to provide this type of experiences, especially for non-African visitors. So in a nutshell, meaningful tourism is not a nice-to-have idea, but it's a set of practical tools which are necessary for the survival and the future development of destinations, organizations, companies, this changing surroundings. So, and the key point is that, so this is a holistic approach, so it's based on the idea that all stakeholders need to have benefits and satisfaction. And so who are the 6 main stakeholders? Obviously the travelers, the host communities, the tourist employees, often forgotten in discussions about sustainable or responsible or recreational tourism. Then also the service providing companies, they have to earn money for future investments, the governments on different levels, and the local and global environment. So this holistic approach, looking at all the stakeholders' interest, is made into effect by using KPIs. So what we cannot measure, we cannot manage, as I would say. So these are smart KPIs, that they are not talking about what will happen in 2 years or so, but something we can measure and annually or often and see are you developing too much correct? And also meaning control is not just looking at the time when people are traveling. So we have something called meaningful travel, which is concentrating on the experience of the travelers, because actually tourism is a whole production chain. So from financing, from hotel construction to waste management. So all these steps, we need to have a clear point of what are the interest of all stakeholders. So it is in the step inside sustainable tourism development, and is based on principles of positive technology and on the Schumpeter approach of creative destruction. Actually, this idea just won a Nobel Prize in economy. So some modern ideas using Schumpeter as a base so that you actively embrace change and not just react. Follow it. So meaning control offers a tool to analyze the situation, to mitigate contradictions and align interests, develop a strategy, and then to monitor the progress with smart KPIs. We can also compare this with other destinations, other companies. We are producing a unique approach index for that. And of course, it can be and should be integrated into capacity building and education, both academic and vocational. And it can also help in the discourse and discussion about this tourism beneficial for our country, for our destiny, for our society. So this is a rather idea that has been developed by me 5 years. And in 2021, we established the Tourism Center, and 2022, we started the Tourism Award, which, by the way, is also happening again this year. So, nominate everybody who is our organization and company to get the Tourism Award until the end of December. Some books and articles have been published about the idea, and in April this year, PATA, the Pacific Asia Tourism Association, approved this concept as their official vision statement. And so we have been this year having organizing all of conferences and volunteer fairs all connected to the tourism. The key element of our work is that we have about 50 trainers in different countries, and you can see there are many African countries, and each of our online lectures is based on the work of one of our local trainers in Africa. So they are there on the ground with the local knowledge to help to this kind of development. And as I said, PATA has said for the Asia Pacific region, this is the official vision to develop a meaningful Pacific Asia tourism economy. Hopefully, we can reach the same for Africa as well. So meaningful tourism means not looking for compromises, and I think this is a big mistake in all discussions, but you need to align interests. Compromises are nobody is ever satisfied, and also a balancing act balances crash easily. So what we need is to align interest of stakeholders, and this we can achieve by active embracement of change. So we mentioned Schumpeter before, and of course, Africa can have the advantage that you have less rigid structures compared to other destinations. So it might be easier to embrace new ideas. Because Africa is, of course, also the youngest of all continents, so we have so many bright young people who are willing to do something or do something innovative and something new.
Hebu tupangane wa mkutano mwingine, lakini mimi naomba tusaidie, kwa sababu mimi naweza kuwa mwisho. Basi yeye yule Nash makakaa pale kwenye mkutano, anaona vile
and also it means, of course, the integration of the local host population. So we saw all the over-tourism protests that they feel that they are suffering, that their nature and culture is destroyed for short-term profit. There have been a lot of debates also recently about such activities stopping the movement of animals and other products. And of course, being the total offer means the provision of better training and better working conditions for the employees, further hospitality. So because we need to attract motivated, high quality staff offering good service, that is one thing. This is something where we see that after many big countries, there's a lack of that now because the working conditions have not been taking places in the past. So we need obviously restrictions and control of the ecological impact of increased tourism, but also we need not just regulation, we need to educate the locals and the visitors about the local ecosystems and how to protect them. The visitors feel not just as somebody bringing some dollars, but somebody who is welcomed, then they have also more interest in protecting the area where they are. So we can align the interests of economic development and environmental protection, and they are actually not opposites, because in the long term, we are using natural and cultural resources to generate jobs and income, and so to keep them alive, not killing what we are selling, is in the interest of both economic development and profit and environmental protection. So that means we can use a strategy based on the mini-tourism principles of providing benefits and satisfaction for all stakeholders to avoid a development in Africa of short-term profit and long-term destruction, as we have seen, unfortunately, in many other places in the world happen. So this is an overview of what is mini-tourism, and we will talk more about what is specifically important destinations with the rest of the lectures. Just briefly say, so who is the Meaningful Tourism Center? Well, it's a non-profit organization based in London with headquarters in Kathmandu, and I'm proud to say partners and trainers around the world, including many countries in Africa. So we provide research, training, consulting services for companies, organizations, and institutions globally, and of course also in Africa. And myself, I've been called now one for Prof M for Meaningful, and I've been working with tourism for almost 50 years as a consultant, a trainer, a publisher, event organizer, and also as a university professor. And so we offer, together with our local trainers, a full range of services for destinations, companies, and organizations. So the entry level is that based on a self-assessment for individual companies, which is very easy to do based on smart KPIs we provide, so that these companies or organizations or destinations can become recognized as part of their tourism movement. We have as a key element meaningful tourism transformation game workshops and source market workshops, which are full day offline workshops. So this is where local trainers are providing the services on the spot and, if necessary, also in local language. And this is based on role play, so it's a very innovative and productive way of seeing how can specific delivery or specific company or developments push forward. And there's of course implementation support, so from just developing customized KPIs that the workshops to a full implementation support package, all customized specifically for the situation in Africa, all offered for you. So please feel free to contact the local trainers or us at the Village Center, and we will be very happy to make this also something which is something in your place and for your member. So as we said at the beginning, Europe is the past, Asia is the present, Africa is the future, and let me add, ecotourism is a tool for sustainable and profitable content. With that, thank you very much for your attention, and we will move forward with our online lecture. If you have any interest in contacting us, so please feel free to contact us either with our local payment or the center on WhatsApp or email. We have just updated our website and we have the newsletter. Newsletter we will all receive because you have participated in this online workshop. Thank you so much, and now let's move forward with the program.
Richard.
Hi, welcome to this online lecture. My name is Richard Julius, and I am the certified meaningful tourism trainer for South Africa. South Africa is one of the rare places where a single trip can bring you wild nature, deep culture, incredible food and wine, and unforgettable community stories. But here's the challenge. How do we make tourism work not just for the visitors, but for local people, employees, businesses, government, and the environment? And not 10 years from now, this year. In this short session, we will look at where South African tourism stands today, what's holding it back, and how the Meaningful Tourism Toolkit help turn good intentions into real progress. By the end of this lecture, you will understand the current state of tourism in South Africa, key challenges and the real opportunities hiding inside of them. Thirdly, how to use meaningful tourism tools to support development that's inclusive and sustainable. And how all of this supports national and provincial tourism goals. Let's look at the current state of tourism in South Africa. Tourism in South Africa matters because it touches jobs, small business, and how the world sees the country. Travelers are still drawn here for their iconic nature, like the Kruger Park, the Drakensberg, the Cape Floral Kingdom. Cities like Cape Town, Johannesburg, and Durban bring strong cultural appeal. Add to that wine, food, heritage, and adventure. But three issues define the current picture. Firstly, the flow of visitors is uneven. Most demand is packed into a few hotspots and a few months of the year that stay in some places while leaving others underused. Secondly, there's a huge gap between big global players and smaller community-led businesses. Many local operators have amazing offerings but struggle with marketing and operations. Thirdly, the operating environment is tough. If you think about it, rising costs, energy and water issues in some areas, and pressure to maintain high service and safety standards. Meanwhile, today's tourists are value conscious, digitally savvy, and increasingly want to see that the trip is doing some good. In the next section, we want to look at challenges and opportunities. Let's get real about the problems, because each one hides a practical opportunity. Challenge 1, seasonality and concentration. The opportunity here is we must develop experiences outside the peak season, like birding, wildflowers, food events, local festivals. that aren't tied to the weather. Promote them with smart packaging and local guides. Challenge number 2, inclusion and benefit sharing. The opportunity here lies in that we track things like percentage of local hires, year-round contracts, and spending on local and community-based suppliers. These aren't just fair, they make businesses more stable. Let's look at the third challenge, perception of safety and service consistency. The opportunity here is, let us set clear service standards and report on them. Travelers appreciate transparency. So you work with audits, certification, and trained local hosts. The fourth challenge is environmental stress. The opportunity here is, let us use simple metrics like water and energy use for guest night, waste diverted, and biodiversity protection. Small wins, clearly shared, build trust. Challenge number 5, market shifts. The opportunity is, let's go after emerging niches like remote work travel, ethical youth volunteering, accessible tourism, food and wine lovers, and modern African culture. Let's use targeted digital marketing and partner with creators. In this section, we're going to look at how meaningful tourism tools can help. Meaningful tourism is built to be practical. It tracks real progress across 6 groups with a lean set of metrics. It's about signals and not slogans. Step 1, choose 12 to 18 simple KPIs for visitors, net promoter score, percentage of trips in off-peak months, for host communities, percentage of tourism income kept locally, the number of formal community consultations, community satisfaction with how their culture is represented. For employees, for example, let's look at percentage of local hires, percentage of year-round contracts, or percentage of women and youth in leadership, staff satisfaction. For businesses, off-peak occupancy, repeat or referral bookings, percentage spent with local or community suppliers. For government, permit processing times, spatial or seasonal spread index, tourism-linked jobs created. And then for the environment, we can use KPIs like protocol compliance, waste diverted, water and energy per guest night, protection of sensitive sites. That's step 1. Step 2, you reuse the data that you already have, pull from the admin systems like HR and accounting. Use mobile surveys and simple environmental checks. No fancy software needed, just spreadsheets and shared definitions. Like step 3, co-govern and publish results each year. Set up a meaningful tourism multi-stakeholder council, meet quarterly, publish one clear annual report with open data. This builds legitimacy and help you tell a strong, honest marketing story. And here's why it works. The targets push hiring and spending forward towards locals. Off-peak goals help in design and promote new products. Public reporting builds credibility and encourage compliance. Now in this section, let's look at how meaningful tourism aligns with government plans. Meaningful tourism doesn't replace government current strategies. It helps to make them real. For example, capacity building. Meaningful tourism includes short training courses and tracks real outcomes like staff satisfaction and diversity. Secondly, product adaptation. KPIs on off-peak travel and community-led experiences help drive new products and packaging that supports regional goals. Next, new markets. By tracking visitor feedback and experience mix, you can target niches more precisely. Transparency builds trust with trade partners. Next, regional development. Metrics on the spread help guide investment beyond the big hubs into smaller towns and rural areas. Transformation and inclusion. Local hiring, decent contracts, and supplier diversity are a core part of the KPI set. And lastly, environmental commitments. You get audit-based based approved for planning and funding. And because everything is reported publicly, provinces and municipalities can defend the budgets, attract investment, and highlight the partners who are doing it right. Okay, so to wrap up, South Africa doesn't need another slogan. It needs proof that tourism is delivering for people, for places, and for the planet. Meaningful tourism gives you a simple way to do just that in 1 year. So to recap, the major challenges we face are real, but solvable. A small shared KPI set can turn strategy to action. Co-governance and public reporting build legitimacy and unlock support. So what now? Put together a small steering group, pick your 12 to 18 KPIs, and agree on definitions. Set a quarterly data rhythm and commit to publishing your first annual impact report. Let's make this the year that tourism in South Africa becomes truly meaningful. I'm excited to see how South Africa turns meaningful tourism into measurable change this year. Thank you indeed very much for watching.
Hello, sorry, we have a small problem with the sound here, so we have to restart the video. Please stay with us just 1 minute. Hello, so sorry, we have to run the video again. So please have a look at the slides.
Yes.
So this is a presentation of IROI, our partner company, and for some reason we don't hear the sound of the presentation, so I will try to explain a little bit what you're seeing. So IROI is based in Palo Alto in California, but have a big office in Bangalore in India, and they are helping destinations and companies to reduce their environmental impact by helping them how to understand how to reduce their electricity usage, how to reduce water usage, how to better organize waste by avoiding waste production, and therefore having a couple of positive effects for hotels, for other mostly bigger organizations, or also like national parks or bigger museums and so on. And so we can see that so there's a lot of cost involved, cost directly for the companies, but also cost for the environment, so for everybody, for the society. And so what IROI is offering is that they analyze what is the hotels and also other organizations, what is the current situation they have and how can they change this and how can they have a food waste reduction, how can they reduce the use of electricity and so on. And this can be already done in the construction phase. So it's also, as we have been saying before, also meaningful tourism is not just looking at the trip, it's also looking at when infrastructure is built. But then, of course, in most cases, it's about the operations. And if you can use some of the tools which are provided by IROI through their experts, you can change your power consumption, and in many cases you can reduce it by 20 to 30% less power usage. You can reduce the water you're using because you can treat some of the water and you can use this as gray water. So for instance, for watering your gardens. And you can, of course, also organize much better your waste streams by using, for instance, organic manure for the land you own and many other things. So, and also things often overlooked. What are the uniforms of the stuff made of? What are the bed linens made of? What are the towels made of? So how to avoid plastic and reduce it with biodegradable materials. And so this is something which IROI experts come to your place and they will check and give you information and proposals how you can reduce your carbon footprint. And that gives you, first of all, a reduction of cost. But also then, of course, it is something which gives you the right to sell these carbon credits then to those who need to buy them because they are running, I don't know, an aluminum factory or other very much polluting industries. So that in the end, you can commit yourself to net zero so that you are really not only saving money, but that you also get money from carbon credit trading. And third of all, that also, of course, you can show your customers that you are taking this serious and that sustainable tourism and meaningful tourism is not just a greenwashing marketing thing, but that is something your customers and your guests in hotels can experience every day. So this has been done in Asia, but of course now also in Africa, this becomes more and more of a topic. And with tourism growing in the coming years, this is another way, as we have been discussing in the Meaningful Tourism debate, how to avoid mistakes which have been made by others in the past. So for destinations which have not developed so much tourism until now, so hopefully they can learn and do it better from the beginning, and this way can reduce their environmental footprint, save money, and also convince their visitors and their guests that this is the place to go to, because we have seen from all surveys that this becomes more and more important when people choose where to go. So that's a short overview. And in the third lecture we will have in 2 weeks, we will have a more detailed look at this, and then hopefully also with the proper sound from the proper experts. Thank you very much. And now let's go live and let's see if there are any questions from the audience. And also welcome Richard Julius, who you just saw on the video from Cape Town. So Richard, please unmute yourself and join us.
Yeah. Any questions? Yeah?
So we cannot hear you yet.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, just a second. Now, Richard, say something.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Very good. Yes. Okay, very good.
Yes.
So Richard, we saw you on the video, but now we can see you in full beauty. Welcome to the show. And so before we start the question and answer, so let me ask you, from your point of view, so you clearly showed what is the way forward for South Africa. Where is South Africa today when it comes to sustainable tourism development?
Yeah, no, sure. We've had, I think, a good run, I would say, with, first of all, sustainable tourism, responsible tourism, and all these, all these labels are quite well. I don't see any problem with that. As far as the tourism industry is concerned, you know, if you know, first of all, let me greet everybody from Cape Town in South Africa. It's a very beautiful day here. We just had in Cape Town, had our Christmas lights on yesterday. But here from Cape Town, when it comes to tourism, and we are really now into the tourism season, the sad part of it, we've got a very beautiful country, the whole of South Africa. I'm not only speaking for Cape Town, but the unfortunately reality of it is that we still suffer from the remnants of the old system of apartheid in South Africa. And tourism used to be the most untransformed sector. Many years ago, before I left here to live in China, it was one of the most untransformed sector. Part of the good news is it is not the most untransformed anymore. Now the most untransformed is agriculture, property, other industries. However, the transformation within tourism has been guided by a program that's been implemented by government called the Broad-Based Black Economic Empowerment. Now, if you look at it now, you would say, wow, there's nothing wrong. We've got BBE, and all the reports indicate that transformation has taken place. However, when you look at the program, the Broad-Based Black Economic Empowerment Program, basically what it has done for the existing players, the traditional players, it's basically just given them a scorecard where they can tick off, hey, we qualify with this, and tick off that. So it has benefited actually the old established role players. So now when you look back at it and you say now it's not transformed, you will still see that the concentration of ownership lies in the hands of the large hotels, the large attractions. And the small community-based organizations or small micro enterprises does not really benefit. And that's why I said in my presentation, one of the biggest problems is the uneven distribution of tourism or value within the tourism industry. Furthermore, what I wanted to say, historically and traditionally, and even up to now, and one of the sad parts, tourism success in South Africa is measured by arrivals. And we know that is the historic measurement of not through empowerment, it's not measured by how many jobs have been created, how many communities have been empowered. And that's why I feel that meaningful tourism, because it's a tool working together with sustainable tourism and responsible tourism, really now enhances this whole program of Black economic empowerment. Meaningful tourism gives an objective measurement with the KPIs and everything that I've mentioned. And I'm quite sure for those who've listened to me and you for the first time, it is too much information in one go to fully comprehend what meaningful tourism means. But as I've indicated, having been born in South Africa, lived through the apartheid system, lived through this unequal distribution of tourism, I can say personally for me, meaningful tourism now becomes that objective tool for us to implement in tourism. And that's why I said I'm very excited. And for those in the panel, and especially for my fellow South Africans there, I stand ready here in South Africa, doesn't matter whether I'm in Cape Town, wherever I am, to make sure that meaningful tourism is presented as a resolution for Black economic empowerment or the redistribution of wealth here. I've already contacted the National Minister of Tourism, and hopefully very soon we will be sitting down to talk about meaningful tourism as a tool, not as a slogan, not as anything, to redress imbalances of the past. So that's my opening remarks, and I stand.
Yes.
I mean, I'm free to anybody that wants to ask. Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that, because also obviously meaningful tourism is not something which is an academic approach and something nice to talk about, but clearly, well, the house is on fire. We have to try to fight the flames, and if everybody only brings 1 teaspoonful of water, a million teaspoons can make a difference. So that's why, of course, this is important. And also, maybe just to add, I'm also have had my own experience having been 2 times in South Africa working with the tourism people there, that my experience was at like 10 years ago, that indeed I was surprised that there were still very much apartheid leftovers when you looked at the color of the faces of who was in which position of the people you were talking to, and in the private industry especially. So, and therefore, yeah, that is clearly also something, the word empowerment you have been using. This is a key idea, and this is also in the positive examples we can see that this also means empowerment of the employees working in the companies and also listening to them. So we have examples where, as you have been saying, start groups so that also within a company, so you can have a work group say, okay, how can we do energy reduction? And that you have one of your cleaning staff is a member of that, and one from the kitchen, so that also the normal people working they're not just the top management, is embracing that idea and coming up with the everyday insights and ideas from how to do this, and every small step is of course helping. And so that is
I actually want to add, Professor, I actually want to add, you mentioned, you said the house is on fire, and you were obviously referring to international tourism. Now, I can tell you practically in South Africa, the house is on fire because our unemployment rate, especially youth unemployment, is disastrous. It's a crisis. I think over 46% was the last figures. Now, if you look at tourism as tourism as the biggest job creator, and we're sitting with young people here in this country that basically can't find jobs. Now, when you say the house is on fire, I'm not sure whether the South African and everybody is just talking about how beautiful, and I can see it around the tourist arrivals already up here. I mean, I'm sitting right in the heart of Cape Town, looking at Table Mountain, and the sad part of it is, again, we'll go through this tourism cycle this season, and the unemployed youth would not have benefited anything. And that is my concern. And that's why I believe that meaningful tourism as a tool would definitely make a difference if we can get more and more people to start understanding, especially Africans, understanding what meaningful tourism really is. And I think that is the first challenge for everybody in this online session, is to get more information. And I hope that this session is just the sort of start to make people realize, listen, there's something bigger out there that can move us away from the traditional visitor arrival figures that we brag about. Wow, we're up 40%, we're up 60%, but unemployment is not affected. So hopefully this session is just a teaser for those who have listened to it, who've locked in to say, listen, I want to know more about meaningful tourism. If we've succeeded with that in this lecture, then I'm happy. If more people start asking the question, and
Yes,
or start
yes,
saying,
of course,
yeah,
of course,
yeah.
and of course, it is also the point that, as in my presentation at the beginning of the hour today, I tried also to make clear that once you take this idea seriously, then you can also have people in different parts of the country at different times of the year offering special tourism services and special experiences and transformational experiences. So then you can also get people away from just moving to a few places. So Cape Town obviously is one of the visited places. And by the way, if maybe somebody is thinking what how about the lady from Cape Town tourism board who was supposed to join us, unfortunately. She had last minute obligations to follow up, so she couldn't be with us today, but probably at a later date that will be possible. So I see that one of our participants, Charlotte Koch, has raised her hand. So I think we have 10 minutes left, so let's move to the Q&A session. And Frau Koch, I suppose, please unmute yourself and ask your question, please. Or your comment. Unmute yourself, please.
So now it should be okay. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
My name is Charlotte Koch. I'm actually from Denmark, but I lived many years in Germany. You don't hear me? Yes,
we can
hello.
hear you. We can hear you.
I'm actually Danish, but live in London, and I'm German married. So I even write my notes. You can't hear me? Can you hear me now?
Go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Okay. Yes. Yes. I wanted to contribute with that. My husband and I have spent a lot of time in South Africa since years to try to make a difference. And I want to make aware of a point that as I really liked this. I'm happy I participated today. And I are really here ourselves in this. And we are people who are into also a little bit of teaching, but we are practitioners and are specialists in carbon neutral, sustainable green architecture. And we have since years tried to get things to work in South Africa. And we work since years with integrated planning, integrated energy design, and the holistic approach. The main challenge, and that brought us into also not only thinking buildings with South Africa, but thinking also community and all these aspects that you just mentioned. But the problem is that Africa still has the mentality of they look at funding. So you have to bring your work yourself, and you have to bring the money for yourself as well, and you need to bring the money for the projects. So you have to, just the same if it's intellectual property or whatever, or it's your time and your heart and your passion, you first have to do this in advance. And the funding structure is still old-fashioned, and that's a global phenomena that if you can't plan the projects holistically, then you can't get them financed holistically. And that's, in my opinion, one of the key issues that stops also the development in South Africa. I will not think about how much voluntary work we have done just to try to make things work. But we haven't given up yet. I want to say that. We have to be long distance runner, and sustainability comes from German forestry more than 300 years ago and means long term. Yeah. So therefore, let's bring together the bands in this group. We have tried a lot, not only in Africa, and we have the passion. We are still working. I'm sitting next to a big model where we are still, it's waiting to be shipped to Africa. But, we cannot give it intellectual property and also the model before we also seek some cash. Huh? Because then afterwards it's over. Huh? And
thank you very much. Thank you very much for your contribution. So Richard, maybe you can answer to that.
No, really. I think after this, maybe we should maybe take her number, and the two of us, we can take this discussion forward. But I understand fully what she's saying and where she comes from. She doesn't need to explain to me. I know precisely what she's saying, half a word, and that's enough for me. But I think out of this, hopefully something big can come, because like I said right at the beginning, we still got very much the same gatekeepers that currently in tourism that has been there over the years. So, unless something meaningful is done, things won't change. And Charlotte just mentioned her hard labor. And sorry, my dear, I feel with you, Charlotte, and I also would encourage you not to stop. We just need to find another way in. And I'm looking forward to working with you guys to see how we can take this forward. But there's something needs to be done. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much, Charlotte. So let's keep in touch. And so if any other questions or anybody else wants to join in the discussion, please feel free to do so. Just unmute yourself and ask your question or give your comment.
Yeah, I would especially want to encourage the South Africans that if they are listening here, to come up to challenge me or to add more comments or whatever. I mean, not just to sit there, to challenge and maybe add another viewpoint that would also help for this. I'm specifically speaking to the South Africans that's listening to this conversation.
Yes. If this is not immediately the case, so maybe let me use the opportunity, also looking at the time. So just to remind you that, so this is the first lecture, and we will have for the rest of the week. So we will have similar lectures, and then with our local trainer and with a local expert in all other cases. Tomorrow for Kenya, day after tomorrow for Tanzania, after that for Cameroon, and finally for Zimbabwe on Friday. And this is followed then by 3 more lectures we will have in the coming 3 weeks, so of December, where then we will have the opportunity to dive a bit deeper into the different aspects and the different tools, and then we also will have KPIs discuss what are the key performance indicators to use, and why are they such a powerful tool, as Richard also has shown. And also, we will have some more information about carbon credit trading, and then hopefully by the real expert for this. And so therefore, as Richard said, maybe if this is something new for you, it might be a lot of information to digest in one go, but so there are 3 more lectures coming up in the coming weeks, and of course you are most certainly welcome to join. Today's lecture will be available online probably from tomorrow at the website of the Institute of Tourism. And also let me thank the Institute of Tourism for supporting our work for a long time. And so if there are other questions, maybe which pop to your mind after it's finished, and say, oh, I would have liked to ask that. So you can also send an email to info@meaningfultourismcenter.org. and center written the British way with RE at the end. And we will be happy to answer them. And so Richard is in Cape Town, so he is locally available in South Africa. So, and please do not hesitate to contact him. And as I also said at the beginning, so all participants will get a free access to the Meaningful Tourism Weekly. So we will send you every week this newsletter. If you don't want it, just tell us and we will stop. But I think it's some good, let me say, meaningful information you can receive every week. So I think with this we will finish, and of course the last words goes to South Africa. And so Richard, give it a wrap up, and then again, thank you very much everybody for spending an hour of your life together with us. Richard, last words for you.
No, I just want to thank everybody for making time and effort. I know it might not have worked out the way they wanted to, or there might have been some problems with sound and stuff. But as I think this is a good start. Any questions the Prof has already indicated, I think this is something for me, it's a passion. It's personal to me. So I'm grateful for the opportunity and for being with you guys. And as the Prof has already indicated, any questions, any contact, just contact the center and we'll be in touch. I'm in Cape Town. I'm prepared to meet with any South African that's around here, or even have a virtual meeting. Yeah, I'm available to take this discussion forward. Thank you very much.
Okay, so with this, we finish the session for today. And so everybody have a good time and a good day. And I hope that we will meet again and you have the opportunity to join the online lectures in the coming weeks. Thank you very much. And goodbye, everybody.
Thank you very much.